And we're back from our break. That was only an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Ryan and Jay had stuff to do, so they can't answer the questions. But you have Max, John, and I to tantalize your ears with these questions.
Which is
Damn.
good because I am a huge fan of horror.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite genres ever.
I decided that you two were the best because you both are really like nerdy hard on for horror movies.
I'm actually more into books than anything else, to be honest.
You know what I mean? Like you guys are for the gore.
Yeah.
Hashtag for the gore.
Although I am not for pure gore horror. I
Right.
don't think gory scenes make for decent
You don't like
horror
gore?
scenes. I like gore in horror movies and such sometimes.
Yeah, as
but
long as it like
isn't
like,
the main focus
yeah,
of why
right.
if it's not
supposed
just
to
a
be
bunch of people
scary.
fucking
Right.
blowing up all the time, then
Right.
fine.
Like
No,
watching
me
The
too.
Green Inferno.
Right.
It's basically just
Yeah.
People
like
eating
masochist
yeah.
porn.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So let's get into the questions.
All right.
The first one, because Hunter Brown is one of my good friends. Why is your face so scary? Because it is, motherfucker. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. They're
I don't have an answer for why Kien's face is so scary, but damn it is.
It is very terrifying.
Can confirm.
10 out of 10 would not want to see this face out in public, so that is why we don't have the webcam on.
At least you don't have to see it in public.
Oh, I see it every morning when I have to take a shower. I'm like, oh,
fuck.
oh, it's just
okay.
me.
Nope,
Hey,
not getting rid
hey.
today.
So then we have Kelsey Sabo.
Yeah.
Who has the best one-liners in a horror movie?
Horror movie one-liners.
Right. I mean, I guess
those are kind of a trope that I've noticed of like not so decent.
Yeah, like more
horror movies.
B-rated horror
I would
movies.
definitely say Jason.
Jason. He's got some weird shit.
Why? I mean, he doesn't talk.
Yeah,
That's
like,
why.
I'm gonna-
I don't know,
One-liner is walks up behind somebody and they fucking scream.
Yeah,
Like that's it.
That's really why watching like the Nightmare on Elm Street, it just really takes me out of the whole thing. It's because
yeah.
the first one's pretty good, the second one's still good, and then you get into like the other ones and it's just
Like shit just gets weird as shit.
yeah, and the one-liners just really take you out of the experience.
Speaking of Nightmare on Elm Street, I'd say Scary Terry from Rick and Morty, I think, has my favorite
Yeah,
one-liners.
those are pretty good.
I'm gonna kill you, bitch.
They're pretty good.
Get back here,
Road
bitch.
which can't hide,
I think,
Bitch.
I think the Leprechaun movie, he doesn't have a lot of one-liners. It is more
Yeah.
dialogue, but like every once in a while he'll catch you off guard with something and you're like, shit, alright.
Yeah, and this is kind of one reason why I'm more interested in books than I am in movies.
Mhm.
Because the reason I like horror is because I like the aspect of thinking about something that's actually terrifying.
Right.
Yeah,
And
like
when I'm-
actually delving
Yeah,
into
and
it.
Right.
seeing just a talking guy killing people on TV, I'm like, okay, whatever.
Alright.
Well, okay, I guess for me, Ghostface would probably be the one with the best one-liners when he's on the phone taunting people.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I
oh,
can
what's
see that.
wrong? I see you. Like.
Yeah.
I'll give mine in real jokingly. I give it to Scary Terry from Rick and Morty.
To Scream.
To Scream, I give it to Scream. Scream,
Yeah.
I think has the best. I mean, I think they have the best one-liners because it's like so meta that like
Yeah. the
even
whole-
when the people are talking, their one-liners are really funny.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
I-
kind of the whole basis of Scream.
Yeah, it's
though,
meta
is
as
just
shit,
being
right.
Meta as shit.
Right. What do you think of the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, the Evil Dead remake? And I'm going to throw in the Friday the 13th remake on this question as well.
Okay.
The Nightmare on Elm Street remake, I don't have that much of a problem with. I liked what they were doing with it, but it
Yeah.
didn't turn out well.
No, it
Yeah.
didn't.
Like-
What I would have wanted from a Nightmare on Elm Street remake was to just remake after 2 and kind of continue on a better storyline than the bullshittery they had.
Right. When it
And
became
for-
too goofy.
For
Yeah.
me, I would have done something. I would have made Freddy like a much more sadistic character.
Yeah, much more fucked up. Like, I want to see him do some weird ass shit. And
Actually, well, with that in mind, the only reason I like this one a lot more is because they played it off that he maybe didn't do anything, and I think I liked that.
yeah,
Well,
he wasn't
besides-
actually a bad guy.
Right, but then he ended up becoming a bad guy. I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
feel like it would have been better if they were like, they teased that he was a bad guy, and everyone's like, oh no, he really wasn't, so now he wants to kill it. And like, I would understand.
Yeah,
his
now he's
motive-
all pissed.
Yeah, I would understand why he was so pissed about it.
Mhm.
But in this, he literally fucking murdered these, like, fucking sexually abused these children and shit like that. And of
Yeah.
course, parents, like, I'm not a parent, but I'm pretty positive I'd be pissed off enough to burn something in my building if someone's, like, molesting my kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
that
I mean,
was-
it was never made out that Freddy was ever like a good guy, even when he was alive.
right.
Yeah, but they never said that he was actually like a child molester. He,
Right, he was
been
just
like
a weird
guy.
ground. Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly. But so that's where I think the new remake of Nightmare on Elm Street went wrong. Where instead of a person who actually did it killed wanting revenge, a person who was wrongly accused going after revenge
That
would have
would've
made
been-
a lot more sense.
That would have been a good take on it. I would.
Yeah.
I
have
liked
that.
a lot of the. I liked some of the kills though in the Nightmare on
Yeah.
Elm Street, where it wasn't just them dying and having their shit rocked. They were killing themselves in the in the
Yeah.
real world.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was an interesting concept because then
he made it more of like you're sleepwalking instead of just you die
Right.
in your dream, you die in real life kind
like
of
I
thing.
mean
Yeah.
he's still doing the fucked up shit to you in the dream, but you're
But
doing
you're-
it to yourself.
Yeah, you're killing you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like that concept of
That
it.
was a cool concept.
And I did like Jackie Earl Haley as Freddy.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I did think he looked like a lion though.
What about the
no.
the Evil Dead remake?
I actually
Did you guys
really
watch
liked that.
I,
Yeah.
I liked it too.
I liked
Yeah.
it a lot. Like
it was
I
good.
like the original movies a little bit better because again, those are less about like horror and more of like a horror one-liner mixture.
right, and but
Yeah.
that's what it was meant to be though. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what I mean, and that's kind of why I liked it a little bit more than this remake because the remake had a lot less of that one-liner kind of aspect to it.
But they
until,
did
like,
really-
right at the end.
yeah, they did really
Yeah.
go with the horror a lot though.
Yeah.
Like,
Which
and
I was alright with.
Yeah, I liked it.
and the
but
numerous
it-
practical effects that they had for this movie was just awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looked good.
Right.
Yeah, most of the movie looked pretty good. I think some of the early scenes, like the prequel scenes, and then some of the scenes at the end, I'm a little bit iffy about.
Right. The raining blood thing really got me at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a little too
odd.
much, yeah.
Yeah, like
And then the scene where the girl's burning and turns into the demon, it really
Yeah.
kind of takes you out of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't look very natural.
no,
Right.
Which,
it does
talking
not.
about a demon, really, that sounds kind of stupid to say.
The
Right.
demon doesn't look natural.
Right,
But
no,
I mean,
that's
it
okay.
really doesn't though.
Yeah. And it just kind of takes you out of that scene a little bit. But yeah, the stuff that's going on in between that is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Right. So, with keep going on with the remakes, we have a question. We have two questions from Julia Miller. She has the first one. What horror movie would you like to see remade, and if it was, or done differently?
I want to see
Oh,
the
something.
Hellraisers done again.
Yeah,
I don't even
that
know if
would
they
be
need
good.
to be remade though, because you can just continue the story however the fuck you want.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want a remake or if I just want more movies.
More Hellraiser movies.
Yeah, and I don't need them to get weird as shit like most horror movies series do.
Hellraiser Death World.
Yeah, like after
Hellraiser
the second
Death
or
Race.
third movie, it just gets weird as shit. Like
Like not
it's
like cool weird, like not
just
like surreal weird, just
yeah, it's
weird.
fucked up. So I want them to kind of go back to like the first movie, especially like that was not even like Hellraiser doing a lot of the problem.
It was a fucking
just-
corpse like
Yeah.
that was reanimated, trying to get her to open. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a psychological thing.
It was very psychological, and the second one was a lot more Hellraiser fucking with shit.
Right.
So like if we could do those, like that.
I
was
would be
cool.
100% down for that.
I want to see a return to some more old-timey horror.
Ooh,
Kind of like Sleepy Hollow was.
yeah,
But a much darker
much
kind of
darker and
Right.
just
Because-
more fucked up.
Yeah, like I have a thing with PG-13 horror movies. It's kind of like they don't always do it that well because they're trying to keep that PG-13 rating.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're avoiding a lot of like natural stuff that
Right.
comes with killing and stuff.
I have a thing where I think Universal totally fucked up by trying to make an Avengers style universe
Monster
with their
universe?
monster. Yeah, with
Yeah.
their monster. I think that's
I just think that the Mummy was kind of like a bad start to that.
right. But for me, because even the PG-13 original Mummy with Brendan Fraser, I thought was scary.
Yeah, it was a little
well,
scary,
it was
but
scary
like,
for
it
its
didn't
time.
have the gore and shit.
Right, but it was still
Was
terrible.
yeah.
Like I have a fear of fucking insects, anyways.
Yeah.
So like the whole beat, like, but for me, like, I would take the Universal monsters, but give them the monster shtick and not them being like defending people and shit like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
If there was any movie I want to see remade, I want it
But
to be
I think that the defending people thing is kind of a little bit true to some of these monster characters'
Right.
natures, because like Frankenstein
Right.
was never.
Never truly a bad
yeah,
guy.
it was
I mean,
never
he
like a
accidentally
violent
drowns people
character
because
or
like
anything
he's
like
just
that.
overpowered
Yeah.
and strong. Like mine would be the Wolfman though. But
Yeah,
the
I
way,
would love to see a werewolf movie where it was just
Just straight
a
up horror.
decent werewolf horror movie.
Where
Yeah.
like you don't even need to have a CGI werewolf. Honestly, it could be a
Right.
POV. It could be like scenes where the guy is a werewolf could be in POV, and it could be like Red Vision.
Yeah, I would
Like
be
how
chill
he-
with that.
like, you know what I
Well,
mean?
anything would be better than what we always get with werewolves. It's always a werewolf vampire hunter kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's always a hunter that shows up into town as a werewolf attacks, and
I would like
I
to
don't want
have
to see that kind
right.
of stuff. I want to see like an actual.
right.
I want to see like a fucking army of people are finally sick of this shit in this small ass town and horde together in a small group and
Right.
overpower it.
What I would really like to see is just like place it in a medieval town and just have a werewolf that just
Right.
comes out of nowhere.
Right,
Like
right.
this stuff has never existed in their timeline before.
Or
They've
it
never
has,
seen it.
but it's only been myths and legends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
all they have.
suddenly there it is, and there's nothing they can do.
Right,
about it.
exactly.
Fuck.
And that's where I stand. Like, I put it like I want a werewolf movie that was similar to the first 30 Days a Night.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's the kind of horror that like I kind of like, is that people are just completely defenseless, like
helplessness.
there's
with-
nothing.
yeah.
I don't want there to end up being a happy ending to this
There's-
horror
yeah,
movie.
there's
It's a
all-
fucking horror.
There's
Right.
always some sort of person that's always either starts out completely adept at all this monster
Right.
violent killing
That was
stuff,
my favorite thing
or
about
someone
Jeepers
who
Creepers,
gets
though.
into
The
it
first
right
one,
away.
though, is that like it didn't end happy.
Oh yeah,
He
Yeah.
took the
exactly.
kid, and
He ended up getting all of them.
He-
You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
All right.
like I remember my mom and dad went to it for a date night. I just remember my mom picking us up from the movie after they saw the movie. She's still bawling about that because she's like, the bad guy won.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit. And then I watched it. I'm like, oh shit.
Right. But I love that. Like that's just something I want to see in horror movies.
Right.
It's a horror movie.
Right.
Good
Yeah.
guy doesn't always win.
I hate when the good, like, no offense, like, I understand people are good and things like that,
Yeah.
but I don't think they should win against, like, a fucking horde of like, I don't get that, like,
Right,
know what I
like
mean?
people seem to come out against all odds, and you're like, but really though, really, does anybody know anybody who would have fucking lived through that?
Right.
I don't.
right.
Yeah, would've been
that's
fucked.
that's another reason why I like reading horror more than watching, because it's like a lot of it delves into like psychological horror.
Yeah.
And even if there is like a pseudo happy ending where the character lives at the end, they're like really fucked up beyond
right,
repair
they're
at
like
the end.
fucking schizo now, and they're
Like not even capable of living in society, kind of fucked
Right.
up.
like, congratulations, you lived through it, but,
But,
you're
you
kind of
fucked.
fucked.
Yeah, like-
exactly. And that's the stuff that I really like to see.
Right,
Right.
right. And so,
And you don't see a lot of that in movies either. Like somebody barely
No,
comes
it's-
out of it, and like the last 5 minutes are them literally just fucked out of their mind.
Yeah,
That-
it's
I don't
it's
think
a
I've
lot
seen
of
that in a movie.
it's
for
a lot
while.
of with like again, I'm gonna talk about Lovecraft because it's one of my favorite horror authors ever.
Mhm.
It's not meant to be a visual aspect because
So- right.
humans aren't supposed to have the comprehension to even imagine what it's
what
like.
true horror is.
Yeah.
I am gonna do one more remake. It wasn't a horror movie. It was a kid-friendly movie. Max and I had this conversation in the car picking up John. I would have totally made Goosebumps more of a horror movie.
Yeah.
And I would.
Yeah.
I want to explain to you why. So, Goosebumps scared the shit out of me as a child.
As a child,
As
yeah,
a
very
child,
much so.
it scared the shit out
I
of me.
don't have that experience.
Well, it
so-
just startled me. Like the haunted mask and the talking dummy. But the way I would have done the Goosebumps remake is like still do the meta like the books come to life.
Mm-hmm.
But I totally would have. I would not have used Slappy though.
Have Slappy be like one of the mains, but like not the
much
actual main.
creepier too.
Right, much
Yeah.
creepier. But I would have chose the mask that possesses people
Yeah.
because like that could be R.L. Stein's like anger and fear towards everything just accumulated into that mask, and that's the reflection of him is that ugly mask on the person's face.
Yeah.
It's like that's his true face.
Well, I kind of want them to do like we're the kids who used to read the books.
Yeah.
So like progress it with us and make it more adult friendly now.
Right.
And like instead of trying to keep a PG or PG-13 rating, fuck it, go to an R rating with this shit. Like show us what really could have fucking happened.
Right.
With Goosebumps.
Right,
That would have
no,
been
exactly.
intense as shit to see.
Which goes into with talking about writing. Who's the best horror director / writer?
I mean, I'm still gonna say Lovecraft for best writer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
honestly,
I think
but-
Lovecraft is hard to top.
Beat. I will go with.
Especially if you're into the psychological,
Yeah.
cannot even comprehend what's going on. kind
My
of
favorite horror director is John Carpenter because his shit is awesome to me.
Yeah.
I will go with John Carpenter with that because I really like Hellraiser.
I appreciate that.
I love the visual in Hellraiser.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna go weird because my favorite horror writer would probably be the writing crew from Courage the Cowardly Dog. I'm gonna go with for that
Mhm.
because they did child horror right.
Yeah, they did.
They made it creepy, but not like over the top creepy.
They made it creepy enough to screw with you, but not so creepy that like 2 hours later you're still fucking huddling under your couch.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's a lot of what putting it into a cartoon will do too.
Right.
Yeah.
But I really liked that concept though. I thought it was an interesting concept to have, and I think that it was. I think Courage is one of my favorite horror genre shows.
Yeah.
I like
And for
Courage.
me, I'm not really into like the directors and cinematographers and stuff for horror movies because I'm not really into the
Movie aspect.
like the trope of guys, scary dudes doing scary things isn't that big to me
Right.
when there's like 10 or 11 of their movies
Right.
that are out. I like the more original style horror movies like this recent M. Night Shyamalan one.
Split.
Yep. And there's another recent one about the blind guy. I can't remember what it's called now. But
Oh,
I just
Lights Out.
yeah, I just saw it not that long ago.
Yeah.
Right.
And that one is pretty good. It's
Right.
pretty freaky. And
I'd go with Sam Raimi as well for a director. I mean,
Yeah.
Evil Dead guys, come on, like
Yeah.
straight up, like
I would have to agree with John. I like the more one-hit movies,
Right.
and not the series movies. I think they hit
Yeah.
you harder.
and they're always so much more original too.
Oh, yeah.
It's still a guy doing scary stuff, but it's not like some
that's why I like.
almost cartoonish guy.
That's why I like Drag Me to Hell. I mean, that was a PG-13
Yeah, that
movie,
one was
but it was
pretty good.
really good. Like the visuals, not just awesome.
It was really poltergeist-esque
Right.
too as well, and that's
Right.
one of
Which
the things that made it
I was
really
sad
good.
about the Poltergeist remake.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
not that great.
No,
No.
it was just It's just like, hey, remember this is a thing, guys. Ha ha ha.
They just tried way too hard. too.
Right.
Yeah, they did. Which it was kind of shit because I really enjoyed the first movie, and it almost makes me not enjoy it as much to know that this is how they took it the second time.
Yeah, like you watched that, and this was the vision that you got from it.
Yeah.
Where like because we recently just saw it and like Wish Upon, that movie had a lot of potential to be creepy.
Yeah,
And
the
just
movie could have been really fucked up.
Fell flat. Like you could still have it be PG-13 and still be creepy. Like
Right? I don't.
it just
I
fell
was-
flat all the fucking time. Like
I was just disappointed in the movie in general. Like, and it wasn't like actors being bad.
the actors were good. That's the thing that
actors were
bothered me.
good. Like,
Is that a horror movie? or
Yeah.
what
it was
is
supposed to be a horror movie.
It was more of
I
just a
would've-
laugh fest.
I would have called it a teenage drama.
Right.
With some like magical bullshit in it.
Right. And so I don't know. Modern day horror is just
Yeah, they don't quite know what they're doing anymore.
Who's the guy who wrote the Cabin in the Woods?
Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is an excellent horror movie. It's almost incredible what that movie did.
Because it blew things under the water that like we never
It
saw
took
before.
every single horror trope and put it into one movie.
It made it
and
awesome.
made it a plot twist
Right.
in the movie.
Oh,
Right.
geez.
That it was all just a big setup.
Right. No, I 100% agree with you with that. And then we're going to the next question from Derek Voltman.
Yeah.
Something I have always wondered. why doesn't the lore of everyday life not exist in the reality of some horror films? More specifically, zombies, vampires, werewolf type movies. Everyone is absolutely shocked by these creatures and has no knowledge about them in the most of them. Drives me crazy. Your thoughts? I agree with them on certain things.
Yeah.
30 Days a Night was one of the ones where I'm like, you guys didn't think about, like, obviously these vampires existed for centuries.
Right?
Yeah.
But no one is like, oh, yeah, it's just nothing.
Well, I think that's a lot of the reason why the monsters and stuff have been taken out of a lot of recent horror movies. Like, you don't see zombies as much as you did before
Right?
a couple of years ago and such.
Well, like, zombie movies especially, I think, because zombies are such a crippled monster.
Yeah.
Like, they only
Well, like,
win because of hordes.
especially because a couple of years ago the market was so oversaturated with them.
Yeah.
But again, that's one of the things that like happens to a certain type of monster when it gets too predictable. It's the same thing that happened with like vampires and werewolves and such.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the 60s and the 70s, those were the horror movie characters.
Right?
And then people just got so used to them being around and used to knowing what to do with them that they eventually evolved into these less scary things until we
More
eventually...
romanticized, and that's
yeah,
the thing that
yeah.
is
until we
bothering me.
eventually get
Even
to this point
fucking
where
zombies got
Twilight.
romanticized.
Right?
That's the thing
Yeah.
that bothers me the shit about like the horror genre is that they're like, now like I fall in love with a zombie. I'm like, that's gross.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
don't
just
fucking
that,
do that.
it's just that part of like getting used to it being there. You
Right,
know how to
it's-
deal with it, and it's not as shocking anymore. And that's
Right.
again why the one-hit ones kind of make a lot of sense.
Right? Where it's more of a
Right.
fucked up person instead
But
of a
yeah.
monster. Because
But
a
like-
monster, people aren't afraid of them anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
if, say in like New York City, a vampire popped out and is like, I'm a vampire, a third of the people would be like, alright.
Want to fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah,
people would be
exactly.
from everywhere be like, so
It's that Cleveland-
are you
There are
committed
people
to-"
who would actually want to be turned into a vampire.
It's that
Yeah,
Cleveland
it's
show
more-
episode where Roberto falls in love with a vampire and a guy. Like she thinks the guy is a vampire and she thinks the guy is a werewolf, but they're actually gay.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. Like
It's
it's become
just-
so oversaturated where I'm like, I don't think I would ever want to fuck any of those subspecies because they're like, they'll murder me.
Yeah, they will fuck with your shit. Like,
They will kill me. Like there's no like if, ands, or buts about it. They will murder me.
But yeah, it's always been like a weird thing. Like especially watching The Walking Dead, it's like they call them walkers or geeks or whatever, and it's just like, come on, you guys don't like potentially this is supposed to be happening during a current time period. You guys
right,
don't know that they're zombies at this point,
right.
right, that bothers
and
me.
they're so
like,
obviously zombies.
Zombies, right.
if you're in this universe where some shit like this happens, pre-knowledge of this thing is just wiped.
Mhm.
Right.
Like a fucking zombie horde pops up in The Walking Dead,
And everybody's
there's-
got to figure out that they have to shoot it in the head first.
Right,
Yeah.
like-
I think the
knowledge is
Underworld
the-
series really gets to me on that in
Yeah.
the beginning of it, because they're like, we've been here for centuries. I'm like, no one has ever thought that like, hey, there's vampires and shit. We should probably like,
Well, the Underworld series I don't really consider like a horror kind
No,
of thing.
yeah.
that's more just a monster.
Yeah,
series.
that's more like a monster action flick.
But
And they explain it that like the werewolves and the vampires have even worked together to the
Right.
point of keeping their lifestyle a secret from
Right.
regular people.
which
Right.
is understandable because like you don't need fucking mass like people go crazy if they
Right,
realize there's
yeah.
fucking colonies of
Exactly.
vampires.
Yeah, and
everywhere.
then like the vampires are farming people and stuff like that.
What I wanted to bring up that is that that's the only one where I knew that as the series progressed, people knew vampires existed. Because they do that 10-year time gap, and everyone's like, yeah, vampires are the worst, we gotta fucking kill them all.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's where I was coming with that. And that was my good thing about Resident Evil, though. The only positive I will bring up to Resident Evil is that as that series progresses, their lore is like, what? These creatures still exist? They're like, no, you fucking kill it like this. It's this kind of guy. You kill it like that, and you kill it like that.
Yeah, like even
Like-
though there are different types of
Right.
virus out, like they now know.
Right.
Yeah.
People aren't still fucking dumbstruck.
Well,
like, 10
I'm
years
not
in the
really a
future.
fan of the movies or anything.
The
I
video
like
games
the-
also do that, though,
Yeah.
I
too.
haven't seen the recent. Well, 7 has really like revamped the series a
Which
lot.
7 is so good.
So
7 was pretty good.
I recommend 7 if you have a chance to play it.
I liked the first couple Resident Evils. After that, shit just started getting weird.
Res 4 was my favorite, still.
yeah.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 is a good one.
Res 5 and 6 can just go.
Are we talking about games or movies? Because I was talking about movies. Like,
Oh,
the first
okay.
couple movies are definitely my favorite.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are good.
Yeah. The games, though, I don't know how much I enjoyed 1, but, like...
Because it's so 8-bitty and shoddy.
One was just kind of like...
It was
I-
more of a basis to it,
I played
feel.
it, like, long after it came out. I was still pretty young, though.
Mm-hmm.
But I had, like, all the Nintendo series before I really got into PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't
Yeah.
get a PlayStation, and I started at PlayStation 1 still, until I was in, like, 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I played Resident Evil 2 first, and I liked that a lot. So I played Resident Evil 1, and I was kind of, like, taken out of the series a little bit
A
by,
little.
like, the bad voice acting and stuff like
You
that.
almost became a Jill sandwich.
But
Like,
at the same time, I really liked it.
it was a good game, and I mean, it was good for its time, too. Back when it came out,
yeah.
I was not disappointed by it. But,
But
like,
again,
going
I'm
back to
also
it,
really, really good at playing through really shitty games, too. Like,
it depends on the shitty game for me.
I can play some of the turdiest games out there from start to completion and just be like, yeah, it was alright, I guess.
It depends on the game, because there are some shit games out there where I'll play and then get like halfway through the game and something dumb will happen. I'll be like, I can't
Yeah,
even with
I have
this
those
game anymore.
experiences
Where
too,
I'm just
where I'm just like,
really,
fuck it, I don't care.
right? Like that just fucking happened. All right, I'm done. I give.
Right, exactly, and I will 100% agree with you in that. Then we go to Mandy's question, who is that librarian that Jay was talking about those
Yep.
to our podcast.
Yep.
What supernatural being would you like to see in a film feature? Like, why hasn't there been a Chimera horror movie? If we can have Krampus, can't we have a Chimera?
Well, see, Krampus is actually lore to be like that.
Right.
But like, I understand what you're saying. Like, we could have shit like that. Like a fucking
Yeah.
Sphinx starts wreaking havoc on fucking Egypt. Or,
Unicorn.
Like,
I want a
unicorn
unicorn
goes
horror
batshit.
Right.
Or like fairies start coming out of the Feywoods and start just fucking with
Yeah,
people.
I think when it comes to like those kind of characters, there's so much established lore for them being not scary.
Yeah, like
that-
unicorns are supposed to be like the pure of heart, and fairies are like kind-hearted.
Well, I
guidance
think
and
that's
shit,
kind of
like-
why it wouldn't work that well, is because like the initial shock value that you're gonna get from seeing that is gonna be one of those things that's like, oh my god, that was so great, and then like maybe after like your second or third watch, you're just gonna be like, okay, maybe it wasn't that great.
Yeah. See, and I think one of the easier ways for that to actually become is that they're not the main bad guy at some point. Something's corrupting them,
Or something is,
driving them. or
bigger
something.
than them. Is
Yeah.
like a unicorn that's owned by someone who's actually scary.
Yeah, like
Honest-
that would be the way I want it to
the way
see
I
it.
think about it though is like even fucking olden gods were like cannibals and shit, and I think that would make a great horror movie. At the end of fucking American Gods,
Yeah.
the guy who fucking kills kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
that could totally work out.
Here's
Right.
one I wouldn't mind seeing, and since I was talking about like medieval kind of horror again, like a Dullahan riding a unicorn.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty
Who could see
sweet.
a Dullahan, like, instead of having their horse fucks with a unicorn and corrupts that shit? That'd be terrifying to
Like
see.
a black unicorn.
Yeah,
Nothing super over the top like flaming horns or anything
right,
like
no
that.
fucking Ghost Rider bullshit.
Yeah,
but, like,
exactly.
If it gets corrupted and just turns black, I would be like, well, shit, we're all fucked now. Does anybody actually know how you kill a Dullahan?
Yeah.
Do any of you know that you actually have to fuck up its head that you can't find? Because I'm pretty sure you
yeah,
don't.
again, like that would be a really good one. And I really liked Sleepy Hollow, but I feel like that movie just being a little bit more hardcore would have added so much more to it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be weird. I'm Filipino, and we have this weird legend of an aswang, who is a vampire. But like, when they turn into the vampire, they leave half their torso there, and you have to destroy the torso. But they turn into like a creature with like huge wings and like an elongated mouth,
Huh.
and like their intestines are flying out, and they just grab children. Not gonna lie, I would see I would.
That
pay to
would
see
be
that.
cool. I want to see shit from other cultures because
Like
it's
a
become
chupacabra.
yeah,
Right.
it's become
Cool.
very Americanized in our horror thing. Like
To take
there are
things from
Japanese vampires that are way fucking weirder and more hypnosis instead of just sultry and dark.
the Chinese vampires are my favorite because they have like a ceiling tag on them and they have their arms pointed out and they have to hop. to
Yeah.
get to you and steal your aura in essence.
Yeah, like their shit is weird. Like I want to see some of that. Like, and I don't want to be like just take the premise on it. I want you to like delve into your lore on
Right.
this shit and get it right. Because if you only half do like a Chinese vampire, I would be really pissed.
Well, that's another reason why I don't know if that would work as well. Because again, like movies aren't just gonna get created because people want them,
Why
and
not?
they're just gonna get made so that someone can make money off of them.
All right, John. Let's
But-
just take a moment. What if the Rosham Bros Network starts publishing movies just as a fuck you?
But the whole trope with like bringing these other things in is that might be so over the top that you're not going to see it as scary. Like a vampire that can hop at you.
It has to hop at you, but like,
Yeah, but that's gonna wear thin so quickly.
All right. Okay.
To the
So
point where you're just not gonna take it
I
seriously.
have
anymore.
another idea. Then there's a Japanese lore of a woman who cheated on her wife, on her husband,
yeah,
and fucks. He takes a blade and slices her face,
yeah.
and now she wears like a mask or something, and she'll walk around the streets lonely, finding like lonely men to have her ask if she's pretty. And then like if the guy says yes, she takes the mask off, shows this disfigured face, and kills them.
Yeah, she like eats them.
Right.
Like
I think that could work.
that could work. I want to see like there are
Yeah.
shadow walkers who like you wouldn't even have to put it in the fucking movie. You literally, if you're too deep into a shadow, you're just fucked. Like that could become a horror movie as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Because like the premise behind a shadow walker is there really is only one, so it's in one fucking shadow. So you get fucked, you're fucked,
Right.
and you don't know what shadow he's in.
Right.
That could be an interesting one. And I'm pretty sure on that lore, there's no way to kill him because it's actually a shadow.
Light. I feel extensive amount of light, like a flashbang.
Maybe.
Or an absence of it.
Yeah. I don't know. But, like, there could be a lot of mystical things. Like, let's say leprechauns. We already popped on leprechauns in the Leprechaun movie, but, like, a fucking corrupted leprechaun who had his pot of gold stolen.
They're assholes too. Did you ever
Yeah,
read
they're
Leprechaun
fucking-
lore? They're fucking dicks.
Yeah, leprechauns are actually pricks. So, like, they would do shit like what actually happened in the Leprechaun movie.
Yeah.
I want to see
mean,
that happen again. Like, I thought that was good. Remake it now, and don't do, like, CGI. Like, make it more, like, a fucked up guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Have it out on St. Patrick's Day.
I'd be chill with that.
Is there a reason? This is from our number one fan who listens to all of our
Shout out to you.
Braden Drogmiller. Shout out. Like I said,
Let us know if we missaid your name. We think we're close.
we think we're close, and if anything, I mean, if we ever get financial stuff with this, I'm gonna send you like at least some kind of.
Yeah, dude, you've been watching us
Yeah.
forever. Like, we're.
I'm gonna send you something.
Shout
Right.
out to you, fam.
Yeah.
You-
I will send. We will send you something sometime. Just let us
You-
know if you get. I mean, this is a 2-hour long podcast already. If you siphon through this and listen to that without using the timestamps, I will
Oh, yeah.
buy you like a Blizzard or something like.
like, you are officially #1 fan right now.
Right.
Anyways, so,
right.
like.
So yeah.
Only fan.
Oh, I mean, we have 34 likes, so that counts.
Maybe.
There's enough people who watch our videos that there might be a second one who watches them, but like we know he is watching our videos.
'Cause he-
That's fucking awesome.
The kid wrote 5 good questions.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
like he's into this. I'm
Right.
chill with
start
it.
into that first one.
Is the reason why most horror movies getting more and more gory because of the lack of new story ideas from screenwriters?
Probably.
I'm gonna go with no
I
because
think it's a lot to do with like people that watch them. Like I
Right.
think people are continuously just desensitized to that.
right.
kind
But
of-
I
will,
agree with
I will
that.
point counterpoint. No, not a lot of horror movies are becoming gory because Annabelle was not gory. And the way that I will go back upon our
Is that a pretty recent one?
yeah.
Decently
Okay.
recent.
The new Annabelle movie is not gory at all. Like
No.
the new Annabelle creation, we saw the trailer for it during
Yeah.
Wish Upon, does not have that gore factor.
No, it doesn't.
Neither did the original Annabelle that came out 2 years ago. Conjuring didn't really have much of a
Uh-uh.
gore factor. And I'm gonna go about with Wish Upon is that
It
there was
wasn't
no
a
gore.
It wasn't a gore.
it was
factor,
just
it
trying
was
to
just-
scare you,
It was
quote
just
unquote.
fucked up deaths.
Right,
Like,
right.
the goriest part was the dog.
So where I stand is that depending on what type of horror you watch.
Yeah, if you watch gore horror, I think it's getting gorier.
From 2000, like, I'll go with the start of 2005 through 2012. You had the Saw phenomenon of torture porn.
Yeah,
Like that was the big thing, because like Saw came out, Hostel came out, like all these ones that were more like you have to mutilate your body.
yeah.
That was the more gore-esque thing that we got. Until
yeah.
you got like the remake of Friday the 13th was super gory.
It was.
It was like extremely gory, and then My Bloody Valentine
Yeah.
And
was
the
the
Evil Dead remake.
and the Evil Dead remake were the last few ones that I could think of that were considered a horror movie that was gory.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like, and I guess the
don't
Green
know.
Inferno, but I can't. I couldn't finish that movie, not because it was like gross or anything. I just thought it was fucking retarded.
I don't know. See, like, a lot of horrors, I don't think they're really very scary that much anymore. But I think something they're trying to do, if they're falling in the gore category, I think they might be trying to step up their game every once in a while. I don't think it's
For showmanship and not for fear.
Yeah, it's more of like, look what I can do.
Right.
But I honestly don't see a lot of gore movies coming out anymore. They're taking a very big step back from that.
Yeah, a lot of the gore was used earlier to create an aspected shock value. And
Right,
a lot
yeah.
of people have just gotten really used to seeing that kind of thing.
Right? We expect to see
Right.
somebody
And-
fucking
and, yeah,
explode
that's
or
why
like shit like that.
Horror movies have really jumped from the gore aspect into
To-
like the jump scares
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
But I would have to say, like, shout out to like Blumhouse. Like, most of their movies they poop out are stupid. They really are. Like, Blumhouse was the
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity guys. But I really like Sinister. I think Sinister is a really good horror movie. It's a good psychological and spiritual horror movie.
Yeah.
And I also think, as much as I didn't think Get Out was a horror movie, but what felt under it, I really liked Get Out's premises.
I think it was more of a
Yeah.
psychological.
Right.
It was a pretty interesting movie.
It was a
if
pretty
anything.
interesting movie, and I will give him that. So
Yeah.
I know we jumped past the question, but no, I don't think it's getting more gory.
Not
I don't think
not
so.
really. Like, maybe if you asked that question a few years ago, we might have had a different answer. But right now, it's not getting gorier. If anything, it's going away from
Right.
it.
It's getting jumpier.
It's getting supernatural and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Why do companies keep making remakes of movies and sequels when they're known to fail? They aren't. What is the worst horror movie remake or sequel? First of all, they're not failing because people still fucking go to
yeah,
those
people are
movies
still
and they
watching
still
them.
make money.
Critically, they are.
Critically, they're
like,
failing.
they're
but
dumpster
financially,
fire.
they're still
Right,
doing
financially, like, if you see Jason, people are gonna go.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason right there. That's the
Right.
complete answer to
The
the
name.
question is people are
Yeah,
still
that's why they're
buying
still
it.
making
Yeah.
them. People
Yeah,
go.
Wish Upon may not get like a remake or something, but it's still gonna do very well on like rental and shit like that.
Yeah,
because people are
like-
like, hey, let's watch a dumb movie that's really funny. Let's just-"
Right.
you know what I mean?
And that almost had a Final Destination feel. I kind
Right.
of felt like that was kind of where it was going, and I don't know. It wasn't a great movie. It
Can we
probably
do-
wasn't even good.
Can we do worst but funny horror movie sequel and remakes, and then just all out terrible?
Yeah.
On this, because I have two.
Okay.
So my favorite funny worst horror movie sequel is Jason X. I
Yeah.
fucking love Jason X.
That's a weird one.
That movie is
Right.
dumb as shit,
I agree with
Yeah.
you there.
but so funny.
It's Jason in
Hey, let's go camping and take our clothes
Yeah.
off and have unadulterated
Holographic
sex.
projection.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he's
that's a
beating,
really-
he's beating them in the sleeping bag, and they're like, "Ow, ow."
Yeah, like
Ow.
it's fucking.
I'm like, all right. Jason X is my favorite like worst horror movie sequel, but like a really bad like movie.
It was a bad movie.
Like a really bad movie sequel is I'm gonna have to go with The Final Destination.
All of them?
No, the
Because
fourth,
I'm gonna go with all of
the
them.
race car track one, the one with
Yeah.
the races was stupid.
I think they're all stupid, man.
Well, I
I 1 and 2 are fun for
Oh
me.
man, but so many of those deaths are so impossible.
Right.
Like the
right.
escalator thing.
Right.
Like those are not made in any way to go that fast, even in
Right.
critical failure.
Right. Even if
no,
you fuck with them, they
I
just shut
get you,
down.
on all these. I get you how stupid they are.
Yeah,
but I find
they're just so.
I find it
unbelievable.
enjoyable though. I like
Right.
the Final Destination movies for what they are.
Yeah,
It was
like
more
turds
just a
that-
series
yeah.
to just watch, not a series to
Right.
get scared by. It was more of a like, yeah, you kind of fucked up, so here's your repercussions. You're now fighting death.
Yeah.
Good fucking luck,
Right,
you idiots.
Right. I find them all to be like, I don't know. What are your guys's? I mean, do you have
for like favorite dumb remakes,
Yeah.
or I'm not really into remakes or anything
Yeah,
like that.
I don't know.
And I'm not really that into the movies either. Still.
Can I just say Poltergeist's newest one? Like, that was
the worst?
Yeah, that. I don't even know if Poltergeist really falls into horror or more of just an odd movie category,
It's
but
a horror.
see,
The first one is a horror.
I wasn't really that scared by it though. Like, I get where it's a horror, but I didn't. Think
The
it was
second
really-
one's a dumpster fire.
right.
God, I just
Yeah, like you remade it as trying to stay in the horror category, but like just fucking don't. And I'm worried in another like 20, 25 years we're gonna get Poltergeist again, and it's gonna be bad again, and people are gonna watch it again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Why do companies keep? Oh no, wait. Opinion on video games to horror movie adaptations such as Resident Evil.
Video games I love in the horror market.
Right.
I'm not really a huge fan of movies because I don't like sitting there and watching something that's supposed to scare me.
I
and
don't
not
like
feeling
Silent.
scared.
I like Silent Hill's video game, the first one.
I like Silent Hill, like all of them. But,
Right.
And I like the movies too.
Right.
Because they do a good job of like representing what's going
Right,
on
that's the
without
closest-
giving away
yeah.
too much.
Um,
But most video game to movie adaptations I don't think are that good.
Right.
Especially for horror.
Right.
Because I mean you're talking about like Resident Evil movies.
They become
and those
action
are pretty
instead of horror.
and even like the first one to me is not that great.
Right.
Even though I think that the first one is the best one in the series.
Right. Because it was Resident Evil.
Yeah, it was actually kind of true to the actual
Right.
story.
I mean, I guess like I like the Outlast games. I think that could make a good movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna just go ahead and say that like I'm completely against it happening. I'm not into it. I don't think that movies to video games work that well, and I don't
Mhm.
think video games to movies work that well either.
Right.
Most of the time.
I don't know. Alien Isolation was one of those few ones where it was.
Yeah, it was good, but at the same time, to me, it felt a little shallow. I just wish there was a little
Right.
bit more going on to it.
Right.
Not that I want like to be able to fight the alien and such like that. I just felt like I really kind of washed through that game pretty quickly.
Okay. Okay.
Especially for a full $60 game.
Right. Any future horror movies you guys are looking forward to? I'm excited for It. That was him, not me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really into it that much.
See, I don't know about it. I want this new movie to be good, but the original movie was already good enough.
Yeah.
And like John keeps saying, the books are better. I have read it. That fucked with me a little bit. So
Yeah.
like, if this movie
And-
doesn't make me feel like I'm reading the book again, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it.
And a lot of what I've been seeing on Tumblr is girls shipping the characters. I am totally not into that.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're gonna take that a little bit and are gonna be like, we gotta work this into it. I feel like this is gonna be a too modern representation of it.
Right.
Like it's just gonna be a little bit of a pander squad kind of thing.
Right.
Which will make me really disappointed. I hope and pray they
Yeah.
don't do that, but it's probably gonna happen.
But as for movies that I'm kind of excited for, I mean, there really definitely isn't anything. Especially when it comes to horror, like the thing that you gotta be looking for is the thing that's gonna surprise you.
Right.
See,
When you're
yeah.
going into it with expectations, you're really ruining that aspect of horror that's supposed to really
Right.
scare you.
See, and I agree with you on that, but like, what was that one movie, Happy Death Day? or
That's the
something?
movie I'm actually interested in seeing.
I want to see that. I already know the premise, and I'm pretty sure I know the bad guy already. But like, I still want
Yeah.
to see it. I want to see what she does because like there's a point in the previews where like she's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna die tonight," and for like 4 days in a row, she walks around naked.
Huh.
So
Right.
you're like, all right. I mean, like I want to see what she does when she's like
Knowing what's going to happen.
when she like reaches the point of giving up for a while and trying to solve her murder, and she just does whatever the fuck she wants. Like that would be an interesting way
Right.
to see. And I want to see if the guy kills her at any other time instead of like near the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like if one time he just fucking shows up in the middle of the day and is like,
Ha, bitch.
well, you fucking have been doing shit all wrong, so I tried to fucking kill you now. So like I want to see that happen.
Yeah, I'm kind of it seems like it has a little bit of horror aspect to it, but I'm definitely not thinking it's gonna be a very scary.
It's not gonna be scary.
I'm on like I don't know. We talked about the preview in one of the episodes prior.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Um,
Flatliners.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I
wanna see
was
that.
so
Like
pissed that they turned it into a horror movie.
It still looks pretty interesting to me.
I don't think a lot
I don't
of it's gonna be a horror
yeah,
movie.
that's what
though.
I mean though. I think it's gonna be a little bit more suspense oriented
Yeah.
with like a supernatural aspect.
Right. I feel like it's gonna be one of those movies where it's like a good movie where they're like living the high life doing this shit, and it's like only the last half hour is gonna
Yeah,
be horror.
it's gonna be kind of some Final Destination type shit where like there's some repercussions
to what
surviving death, basically.
Yeah. Which I'm fine with. And going back to Happy Death Day, I think it's gonna be more of a murder mystery, but she's solving her own murder kind of thing.
Yeah,
Which
like
I'm
as a
fine
ghost
with.
or whatever.
Well, like, it's a Groundhog Day, but instead of at the end of the
Oh,
day,
okay.
yeah, it's a Groundhog Day. When she gets murdered, her day starts over. Is the premise of this movie.
Okay,
So like,
that could make for a really good comedy though.
yeah, it could make for a good comedy. It could make good for good serious
Because
murder
Groundhog
mystery.
Day is a great movie too.
Oh hell yeah, I love Groundhog Day.
Bill Murray's my spirit animal.
Bill Murray, I love you. If you ever die, I'll just like.
Hashtag Zombieland.
God. I have not been disappointed in Bill Murray ever.
Not Bill Murray. Zombieland.
Garfield?
Zombieland is a
I fucking love
Are
Garfield.
you fucking kidding me? Really?
Zombieland is a great comedy horror movie.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, we could go into that. What's a good comedy horror movie that was meant to be comedy horror?
Zombieland. I mean.
Zombieland.
Or Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah. Shit. There was another one I just watched recently. I don't even remember what it was. Fuck. And this movie I'm thinking of.
Scary movie. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first one, the first
Yeah.
and second one. The other three, the other.
Oh, I mean, they're all fucking stupid.
They're all stupid as shit, but the first two were funnier and more horror orientated.
I like when Scream gets high. He's like, "You want to hear me sing? Hack slashing, and just killing everyone while he's singing."
Yeah.
He's like, "Where'd everyone go?" I don't know. Like, yeah, there's just a lot.
See, and
Horror's a weird genre though,
It
because like it
is.
has deviated to what it originally was. To
Well,
what it is
again,
now.
it's like it's one of those things where you can't get yourself too hyped up over what's coming out
no.
because you got to give yourself that room to be surprised by what's going on. Otherwise, you're just taking yourself too far into the experience that you're taking yourself out of it.
Do you know what show I don't think deserves the term horror in their title?
Which one?
American Horror Story.
I've never watched it, so
Oh, it's
I don't know.
it's a series.
I don't know. I've heard some really good things about
I've heard,
it. I've
like,
heard some really bad things.
There are
about
good
it, too.
things in the first 3 episodes. There's first 3 seasons. It becomes less of horror, more just shock value, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
That was my problem.
Yeah, the shock values, and that's why we talked about it when we were talking about movie reviews a couple episodes ago too. When you mentioned, I think it was like Bad Moms too.
Right.
Like the shock value of kids just swearing doesn't do anything for me.
Right. We were talking.
And it's kind of
Yeah.
like with a lot of horror movies, like the jump scares and stuff. Like sometimes they startle me, but I'm never like
Right.
scared.
Yeah, you're not scared. It's just a jump.
We were talking about American Horror Story and how I don't think it should have the term horror in it. After season 4.
I think it can be. I think it can have the term horror, but if they put like a little quotations around that, I'd be
American
like,
Horror
story. Like
Like-
it's more just fucked up a little bit. But I guess if you're scared by it, you can take the quotations off if you like.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
But if we're talking about anthology series, like, because that's what American Horror Story is, it's a long season of anthology, of one anthology story.
Yeah.
I would go with the Tales from the Crypt is like one of my favorite
Those are
horror
good, yeah.
anthologies. And then Are You Afraid of the Dark from Nickelodeon is another
Mhm.
horror anthology series that really gets me. Like, even watching it as an adult, I'm like, oh, they showed this when we were kids? This is fucking cool.
Yeah.
Right.
What's our next question?
We don't have another one.
Oh, that
We're
was the
good?
last one?
That was the
Oh,
last
okay.
one, because we brought up books already with
Oh, that's
another
right.
question. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think somebody had mentioned book to movie
Right,
adaptations.
so we went book
Yeah,
to movie.
again, I think books are usually a little bit better. I think when you have, and again, this is kind of like the thing about not hyping yourself up too much. When you have the room to create this image in your mind of what it is that is doing all of these atrocious acts, it makes these things a little bit darker.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it brings you to a place where you're not just imagining what's doing it, you're the one that's imagining it going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes reading horror so much scarier.
I agree with you. And I think really one of the main reasons they make these books into movies is because people aren't into books. We know that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Books
people
are-
don't want to read. Let's just be honest.
Well,
Ryan
that's
has
the
admitted
whole,
this.
Yeah,
that's the whole
books-
reason that comic book heroes are becoming such a huge thing in movies.
Yeah, like books and comics and shit like that are dying out. We love everybody who loves to read. Most of us enjoy a good read every once in a while, but like a majority of people are just not reading anymore.
Yeah.
So people are like just taking books that they find and are like, fuck it, let's make it into a movie. We can make money off of it.
Mhm.
Nobody's read the book before, so who gives a shit?
Yeah,
And, they can
I
do
think,
whatever they want.
I
That's
think
a
by
sad thought, though.
Yeah.
I think by bringing a lot of the reasoning why books are so good with bringing your own imagination forth into the horror movie genre, because this is one of the genres that could do it.
Right.
I mean, you can't translate Harry Potter into a movie format and expect the audience to come up with the fill in the blanks with their imagination.
Right.
Right.
But to translate a horror book into something that leaves a lot open to interpretation as to what's going on is something that definitely can be done.
It can
Cycles
be
of a
done.
Werewolf, I think, could, if it's done right, could be a
Well,
really good horror
look
movie.
at The Mist. The
Right.
movie The
Yeah.
Mist. A lot of that movie was really great up until they showed the monsters
Right.
and stuff like that. If they had just given it a little bit more time to develop this mist into this mystical, mysterious
Fuckery?
thing,
Yeah.
and then just ended it on a bad note, I mean, that could have been a great movie.
Right. Right.
Or
That,
The Happening.
right.
Yeah.
The Happening.
Oh,
The Happening
nah.
had a lot of potential.
Right.
Until Mark Wahlberg starts talking to fake trees.
Right.
What are you doing? Why are you killing us, trees?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Basically, the realization of what's actually going on in that movie is the reason that that movie turns into a shit pile.
Oh my
Pretty
God,
much,
right.
yeah.
Like, if they had just left that completely open or given it a more supernatural, the main characters just aren't going to understand what's going on kind of ending, that could have been really good horror movie.
Or not have them realize it and kind of leave it up to us to possibly figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, I would have enjoyed
Like,
that.
give us a little bit of a link and then kind of like leave them in the blank.
Yeah.
Right. God damn.
And they don't have to fill us in completely. Just, like, nudge at it a little. Be
Like,
like,
huh?
we're not going to
See?
tell you, but, like, if you think this is what it is, yeah, sure, it could be what it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Have fun with
exactly.
that.
Like, instead of having someone explain that, like, the plants are angry, just, like, a couple shots of, like,
Plants with frowny faces.
I mean, that sounds dumb.
Or, like, we could have, like, a scientist
Just-
studying, like, plants and seeing readings going weird
Or even
as
just
he dies. Like,
give a
that.
couple decent shots of, like, the wind blowing some trees around, and then people just start dying left and right.
Yeah, people
Right.
are, like, dropping in front of the wind. Like, that could be something.
Exactly. And,
Right.
and then never explain it any farther than that.
I
That could've been
totally,
great.
yeah, I agree with you guys, and I don't know, I like horror a lot, but like new horror just a turd stain.
Even a lot of old horror, it's really hard to feel scared
Right. Now, like
in
when I
these
was
things.
younger, I was a lot scared.
Yeah.
Well, that's another reason why I like horror video games, is because what I was gonna say is it's not very easy to be scared unless you're experiencing what's going
Right.
on.
That's
Like
why
most-
I will not play the VR of Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
Because fuck that noise.
I totally do want to play it. I have not played Resident Evil 7.
It is fun.
It's
I have-
it's good.
It's an
Yeah.
interesting
Reddit-
game. It
I've
scares the shit out of me.
Read a
even
little
without the
bit
VR.
about it, but I do not want to experience it until I have the chance to experience
It's
it
in
at
VR.
VR.
Right. Well, we had we had the shitty roommate Jacob. who
We
had
did
the-
have a VR for a little.
Yeah.
And,
Well, that's the reason why I think horror does work really well in video games. Is a lot of what makes video games special to people is immersion into this world. Like you're actually playing the character
Yeah,
that's
you
here.
are the person.
You're actually doing it, and so
Do you-
playing through a horror game, you're the one experiencing these bad things happening to you.
Do you think Kojima's new game is a horror game?
I think it'll have a lot of like suspenseful aspects to it, but I think it'll have a lot of like psychological stuff like Metal Gear Solid really had.
Okay.
I think it'll be a lot more Metal Gear Solid-esque with a little bit of supernatural in there.
Like Metal Gear and Silent Hill, kind of like.
Yeah, maybe, because the original PT demo that they released, and it was called PT at that time, it was originally supposed to be a Silent Hill thing,
Yeah.
and that was basically like a first-person horror kind of thing.
Right.
And so yeah, it'll be really interesting to see where Death Stranding goes at this point.
Right.
Hmm.
So that's been our podcast.
Foods.
Don't forget to down on the links below, like, subscribe, share, listen to our playlist.
Follow me on Twitter.
Follow John on Twitter,
I am John Dean.
and I am John Dean. Follow us on Facebook.
Yep.
We try to post at least once a day
At
Right,
the
so-
Shambros podcast.
at the Rochambeau's podcast, which is actually going to be changed to network.
Yeah.
pretty soon.
Because, like I said in the beginning of our podcast, we might be having big things coming for
Yeah.
us.
We might be.
Might be. Hopefully everything goes fall through.
Hopefully. We say might be. We plan on it, but shit happens.
Right. The tutorials won't happen till winter because the person that's doing it
We
is
are
busy.
very disorganized group, and
But we are
fine.
we are disorganized.
Yeah.
I mean, we still the podcasts that do stay consistent is Fanime, which we have the 7 Deadly Sins trailer that I show you
Woot.
today.
Yeah.
That we're gonna talk about tomorrow.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
series.
I mean, we still have the takedown breakdown. Luis and Jesse are coming today, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's gonna be
Nice.
fun. And then Ryan is gonna have a rant tonight.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just told us about that.
Right.
So this
and
could
so,
be interesting.
We're gonna go. I'm Kien Ibanez.
And I'm John Dean.
I'm Max Schooley.
Bye.
Watch Game of Thrones tonight.
Watch Game of Thrones. Bye.